Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Grand Cruz Astrology. My name is Clayton Cruz, and today I'm going to talk to you about the new moon in the sign of Leo. I'm excited to talk to you about the new moon in the sign of Leo because Leo is fun. It's a very fun, magnanimous energy, and the new moon there really speaks to a time that we could really enjoy ourselves. I'm going to get to that. First, let me just talk about the new moon, what a new moon is exactly, and why it's important, why it's significant. So, the sun. The sun moves through the zodiac. It takes a year to move through the entire zodiac. It moves about a degree through every sign per day. So, this new moon is at 26 Leo. In 4 days, it'll be at 1 degree Virgo. It moves 1 degree per day, and it takes about a month to move through each sign, 12 signs. The moon, on the other hand, the moon is so cycles within cycles. So the moon cycles, it moves through the entire zodiac in a month, right? So it moves through each sign, it takes about 2.5 days. So whereas it takes the sun 30 days or so, more or less, it takes the moon 2.5 days to move through each sign. So the moon has a much faster cycle. It every month it hits every degree of every sign in the sky. It moves through the entire zodiac. So the astrology behind that, the meaning, how you understand that is that when you have the new moon, the sun is recharged with solar expression. That's how I think of it. Because as the sun moves through the entire zodiac, going from new moon to quarter moon to full moon and then back around again, back to the new moon, it is carrying expression of that new moon, of the sun, right? So every new moon, it's like the lunar expression, wherever it goes in the zodiac, is carrying with it the signature of the new moon. So, for example, when we have the new moon in the sign of Leo, a very magnanimous, solar, it can be a self-centered, but very self-involved, self-expressive kind of energy, right? Well, as the new moon transits every degree of the zodiac, it is reflecting that energy onto various parts of the sky in various places. So everybody in every part of their chart for a brief period of time is going to get that moon reflection on some part of their chart. So it affects everybody. Now, the moon moves very quickly, as I've said. I mean, it moves through the entire zodiac in a month. Relative to the other planets, that's, that's nothing, right? That's very skipping right over the top, right? So, I mean, for example, Pluto, it takes 15 years to move through a sign, hundreds of years to move through the entire zodiac. So you can understand that the moon moves very quickly. It's very day to day. It's very much on the surface. So though we are dealing with this Leo energy for this month, and has very much meaning for us in the short term, this is not an energy that sticks with us for the long term. It's very much a day-to-day energy contained within the month, except when we have eclipses. Eclipses leave an imprint in the sky, and when those parts of the sky are aspected by other planets, there is a charge there. And so eclipses carry a little bit more longevity as far as a lunar expression, solar or lunar expression, than does just a regular new moon. So that's your new moon. It's the moon is the reflection. It carries the sun's light through the zodiac. It reflects into our daily lives that which is very solar and very removed and very objective and constant, right? The moon takes that energy and makes it personal, right? It takes an energy that's impersonal and just very constant, and it takes that energy and makes it personal and more subjective and makes it applicable to daily life, right? So that's just a little bit about what the new moon represents. And so the new moon represents the seed, the full moon represents the sort of, culmination of the seed, right? Its full expression. And the first quarter and the third quarter moon kind of represent that people call them crisis points, but on a day-to-day level, they're just they just have to do with friction that creates the launching pad for the next phase, right? So anyway, getting on to the new moon in Leo, 26 degrees. What do we have? So again, we have the sun, which is the sun. The sun rules the sign of Leo. The sun really likes Leo. The sun expresses itself fully in Leo, without anything trying to box it in any kind of way or dampen the light or it. No, it's just full expression, full radiance. Whenever I think of the sign of Leo, I think about the lion, which is the animal for Leo, and the rising sun behind the lion. Just this magnanimous. Here I am in all of my glory and all of my expression and all of my solar power. Here I am. Right. Leo is a great sign for acting and performance, and for putting yourself out there, being seen. That's the it's very grand in that, and so that's Leo. Now, it's not all, there are ups and downs. I mean, Leo can be though it can be very big-hearted, right? And it is big-hearted. It's very warm energy. It's very inclusive energy. It shines on everything. It is the sun. Leo also wants to be recognized for that bigness that it shares, right? It wants to be seen. I mean, an unhappy Leo is a Leo that feels like they're unappreciated. That's when the lights can go out on a Leo, when they feel like they've put themselves forth and it's gone unappreciated. So sure, that applies to all of us, but especially Leo. That's a big Leo hiccup. So that's the energy we're dealing with this new moon. It's a solar energy, and so the moon is there filling up its cup of solar energy for the month at 26 degrees Leo. And so what are we going to have with this? Well, we're going to have Mercury conjunct the new moon. So Mercury is right there, and I talk about Mercury. The astrologers, whenever a planet is conjunct the sun, within a couple of degrees, astrologers call that combust, right? And it speaks about astrologically. It speaks about how its effect is that the sun, you can't see the planet because it's so close to the sun. You can't see that planet in the sky, right? So the moon, technically, on a new moon, it's combust the sun, but that happens every month. The moon gets its expression from the sun and carries it forth. It moves so fast you don't really notice. But for a planet like Mercury that doesn't move, too much faster than the sun, it's right there with the sun. It never really ventures too far away from the sun anyway with its retrograde. But when it's within a degree and it's on a new moon, it would speak to the Mercury energy being combust. So how does that look? It's mercurial energy is expression in a communicative sense, how we relate to one another, how we communicate, how we signal to one another, our perceptions, our mind, our calculations, our planning. It has a lot it's very mental energy, right? Mercury is. It's very fast energy. It thinks fast, it talks fast, it moves fast. Mercury rules short trips. Whereas Jupiter rules long ventures. Mercury is about short trips. Going down to get some gas or going to the store, right? Or going to a friend's house. That's Mercury travel, right? In the neighborhood, right? It's very quick. It rules, texting and phones and internet and everything involved in that world. And we have a very mercurial world that we live in right now with technology. So with the sun over this combust Mercury with this new moon, it would suggest that with the moon there as well, it suggests that mental energy is going to get a little bit more. Mercury, which is usually a very, it's sort of the messenger, right? It's sort of the the scout in a way. As far as energies are concerned, it represents that. Um, that's going to get a little bit more. It's going to be very close to home. It's going to be more personal. It's going to be more self-centered in its expression. So we could get away from objective facts for a little while on a personal level. We may be thinking less in terms of the numbers and the figures and the facts, and we could be thinking more in terms of, yeah, but how does that affect me? I mean, even though I may not technically be the center of the universe and the center, I'm the center of my life and I'm the center of my universe. So, how do these effects, how do these numbers and facts and figures, how does this all tie into me personally, right? You got the sun and the moon there together, which are personal, very personal, right? And so I just think at least for the beginning of this new moon, especially the first week or so, I do think that our any analysis or breaking down of facts and figures and objective information may be run through our bias quite a bit. I do see that happening here with this new moon, which is fine if we're aware of that. Just be aware of that. That's all that is. This energy is going to move through pretty quick, so it's not. This isn't anything to get too concerned about. But it's probably not a good time to try to be cold and calculating and impersonal either. Especially with the quincunx, we're going to have the Saturn. I'll get to that in a minute. We have Mars is trine to this new moon, right? So that's great. That's great. So we have this new moon in Leo, which is all about being seen and it's all about being very big, being very solar, and being very magnanimous, right? And it's a great time for putting ourselves out there in that kind of way, being seen, especially with Mercury right there. It's going to be a great time to use technology in that way. Well, with Mars trine to all this conjunct energy, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, with Mars trine, it's going to give us the will. It's going to give us the energy. It's going to give us the drive to actually be seen, to put ourselves out there, to take a chance, to maybe, have a little courage to do something maybe, we're not terribly comfortable with, but, we know that it's exciting, it's thrilling, it's fun. This is Mars Aries bringing some of that daring energy into this, right? So there is some of that sort of Mars and Aries, like independent, very risk. It can be very a risk taker. It can be very impulsive too. It's not all great, but when in a trine aspect, you're getting the better side of this energy. You're getting that daring, fun. You could even say mischievous, but in a fun way, kind of energy. Connected with Leo here, the Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Leo. So. I see, the message just from these planets alone is go for it. Go for it, whatever it is. Being that Mercury is there, I do think this could be technology involved, or this could be communication involved. This could be about speaking publicly to a lot of different people through media. But this is more personal, though. So it may not be. If it is reaching a large group of people, I don't see it necessarily being, something that is very. It may be professional, but it's going to have an air of fun and jovial lightheartedness, and there's something childlike about Leo. Leo, because it is associated in a lot of ways with the fifth house, can be associated with children, and Leo is the sun. There's an innocence about Leo. What you see is kind of what you get with Leo. So long as Leo is accounting for other people, and it's not too self-absorbed. Leo is a fun, bright, magnanimous energy, and it's a lot of fun to be around, and it can provide a lot. So I do see this as an opportunity. Wherever you have Leo in your chart, it's going to affect you differently, and the expression is going to be in a slightly different way. But I do see this as a time where we're going to have the wind at our backs to self-express in a very personal, fun, lighthearted, sun kind of way, solar kind of way. Um, this has to do with having fun too. With Mars being trine to this new moon, with sports, professional sports are coming back into the picture here. So this could be like watching sports on TV with Mercury there too, the technology, the communication. That could be one way it's expressed. I mean, we're starting to see some of that. Sports are coming back in. That Mars and Aries going trine to the sun. Seasons are starting up, and we're getting that going again, right? That is very much a signal of this energy that we're having with this new moon. So it is to be enjoyed. So that's there. It's really a lot of fun. And if it was just these energies, I'd say go have fun, go have a great time, get in the spirit of it, and everything is great. Don't worry about a thing. However, there is Saturn in Capricorn, quincunx angle to the new moon within a degree. So what does that mean? The quincunx degree is 150 or 210, depending on which way you slice the pie. And it represents adjustment. It represents blind spots. It represents two energies that do not see each other at all and are not accounting for one another, and can ultimately cause problems for one another. So just be aware as we go through this lunar cycle, there's going to be a lot of excitement. There's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of play. That's a key word for this new moon is play, right? There's going to be that there. It is going to be present. But there is the quincunx to Saturn. So Saturn in Capricorn, what is it doing? Saturn has retrograded back into Capricorn and is at 27 degrees Capricorn. And what is Saturn up to? It's in Capricorn. It is going through. Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. Saturn likes Capricorn. Capricorn represents the structures, of society, the old guard, the sort of corporate structures, the power dynamics. Who has authority, and what do we respect? What do we work toward? What are the proper hoops that we have to jump through to get to where we want to go? And it's very. You think of Capricorn, just think of like this, its prime expression being the CEO, right? And with Saturn there, it's all about adherence to that sort of step-by-step climbing the ladder kind of process. Now, Capricorn also rules power structures like governments and corporations and things like that. So it represents law in relation to systems. So in a very broad way, we could say Saturn in Capricorn is representing the energy of the system, right? The system the reality that we are living within, the container, right? Saturn in Capricorn is representing that. With it going quincunx to the new moon, throughout this month, we may be at times feeling like, okay, well, wow, I have this really awesome idea. I want to go play. I'm going to make these plans. I'm going to do this. I got this project I want to start. It's a lot of fun. It's very jovial, and it's great. I'm going to throw a party. And at various different times of the month, we could very easily trip ourselves up by not recognizing or not seeing the larger reality, the larger container, the larger construct and rules and order that we are involved in right now. I mean, this is especially true with COVID, and and then some of the other things we're dealing with in society. I mean, if we simply go on, because the moon can represent our memory, it can represent the past, right? With the sun there and the new moon, this can be about bringing a lot of our old ways of experiencing fun and pleasure and party and self-expression. This can be a lot about getting back to that and getting back to our childlike nature, and the things that we do throughout the month and the projects that we take on and the people we see and things we plan and blah blah blah. I mean, that could be just us getting back to ourselves. However, we could get tripped up by the new reality that is the reality we're living in post-COVID, with a lot of the social unrest and everything. That there could be some larger things happening that just are not they're not readily accessible. The new realities may not be readily accessible in our drive and our will and our excitement to either start a new project, create something, just have a good time, or just to interact, right? There may be some disconnect between that charge and that spark, right? And the realities that we have in our world right now. And so, how that could manifest is we just may get tripped up here and there. We may they say the quincunx, the key word is adjustment. So I want everybody, I mean, my advice in this situation is with this new moon to, go for it. Have a great time. Run. Just really put yourself out there. Be seen. Have a great time. Interact. Hold nothing back. However, keep in mind there could be things that you can't see. I mean, the quincunx represents the blind spot. If it didn't represent a blind spot, if it was a square in opposition, then I would tell you, well, this is what's likely to happen, or that's what's likely to happen. But this is an energy that you don't really see coming. And so it could, but I kind of given you a hint as what it might be, right? Because it might be something related to the container of society that we're all living in right now, right? The realities that we're all sharing together, and the power structures within that reality may have some kind of say in tripping up our personal self-expression and our personal drive to create something new, to have a good time, whatever it may be, whatever this we decide we want to do with this exciting new moon energy. There could be some realities that we just don't see. So try to be flexible and understand that whatever we do get jazzed up about and want to push forward and run with, great, do it. Just keep in mind, it may not turn out exactly how we expect. It may be, there may be something that we have to account for through the unfolding of time that we're just not seeing right at the beginning. So I have to mention that because that is there. And to be mindful, I mean, always, you can mitigate some of the unexpected by keeping in mind what Saturn and Capricorn expects. So Saturn and Capricorn expects integrity. It expects doing things the right way. It expects being conscious of the old guard, the rule, the tried and true, the way we always do things, that kind of thing, right? So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that, and that may help kind of that may help any energies of just completely getting blindsided. If you know it's coming in some capacity, it won't be a complete shock. So just know that that's there. Just know that's there. But in no way should this be an energy of holding back or hiding or not expressing. This energy is coming out. It needs to express. It needs to be seen. It's magnanimous. It's light. There's a lot of fire, right? So have fun with it. Have fun with it and enjoy it for the time that it's there. And this could be getting out and playing sports too. If that's your thing, get out and play. I mean, with the Mars, which is all about physical energy, trine to this new moon. I mean, I so much see that being in play right now. And if it's not, playing, getting out and playing it, maybe just watching it, on TV or whatever. But I mean, the sports looks like a really big energy that we have going for us right now. Or being sporty, right? Just using that fire. So, yeah, get out and use this energy, have a good time, and just be mindful that there may be some, you might want to go out and plan a soccer game, and with all your friends and all your buddies, and then you find that the field is closed down or something like that. That's kind of, that sort of blind spot energy that I'm talking about. Quincunxes are strange. It's kind of like, they can be there and you can still be involved in what you're doing in a very productive, awesome way, and yet that quincunx is still there, and it can sort of be like you stayed at a really nice. It's like, all right, just an example, like staying at a really nice hotel, 5 star. It's awesome, but then you realize that there's like road work right outside the window, right? So it's like, yeah, the hotel's there, it's nice, it's beautiful, fine dining and all that stuff, but you planted everything you planted everything, and then but you didn't see that. You didn't see that little unexpected thing there. And so maybe you still have a good time, maybe it's awesome, but maybe you're also woken up a little earlier than you expected, right? And you have to make adjustments around that. That's sort of like one example on the fly that I can think of what maybe a quincunx can be. It's just something that you're just not, you can't really plan for. It can be really strange. I mean, so just keep that in mind that that's there. But otherwise, it looks really good. This looks like a really fun energy, an energy to go out and have a really good time, and see what you can create with it. I do see the first week being, I want to say the most innocent, the most unchallenged, okay, of the lunar cycle that I can see for right now. I think once you get into the quarter moon and beyond that, there are other energies that come into play. And during this moon cycle, we are going to have Mars within a week. This is the 18th, so about a week from now. We are going to have Mars that is going to make a square angle to Saturn. So I do see as time goes on with this lunar cycle, there's going to be some checking ourselves. We're going to be checking ourselves a little bit, and maybe hitting the brakes on some things that we were, hitting the gas on earlier in the lunar cycle. So, but for that first week, it's about dreaming, it's about making plans, it's about having fun, it's about getting excited about things, it's about expressing ourselves. Expressing ourselves through media is a great expression of new moon in Leo on Mercury. With Mars trine, expressing ourselves in sports, also another really, really fun way to use this energy. So go out there, be seen as best you can with all appropriate precautions in place in this time that we're living in. But be seen, put yourself out there, take a step forward, take a chance. Mars is, with Mars and Aries, it's kind of an energy of risk, of taking a little risk, of betting on yourself, right? Bet on yourself for this week. See what can happen. And you know what? Maybe you don't know everything that's going to come. Maybe there are some things that are outside of your visual field right now as far as taking a chance on something. But I would suggest to not let that stop you, because I think you're going to have a lot of forward push. And once we get to the full moon, there is going to be a sextile by sign. There's going to be a sextile harmony between the full moon and the Saturnian energy in Capricorn, all the energy in Capricorn that sort of represents the blind spot right now. So I say go for it. I say take a chance, make things happen, see what you can create. And yeah, it should work. It should work. We hope it works. It'll work. It all works. In the end, we're going to get where we're going. So that's what I got. Have fun with it. I'm going to do another video next week about Mars going into square with Saturn. Now, those are two very consequential energies, and they are going to create some friction, and we're going to know about it. And however, like with all really, really powerful squares, it's going to provide an opportunity for us to be very creative about how to use the energy so that we can create an outcome that is far better than anything we had before the energies came together, right? It can really, really create outcome in the physical world that can leapfrog time a little bit. So that's what I got for that. Now, last thing I want to say, Venus is in Cancer, and this is why I'm saying for this first week from like the 18th, the 18th to the 25th. for that first week there, we're going to have a little window where things are really nice because Venus is in early Cancer right now, and it's not really making any tense aspect yet. And so Venus is the planet of relationships, is the planet of connecting on a one-to-one level with people. It's about balance. It's about harmony. It's Venus is a very mild energy, but it's really nice. It's really nice to have in good aspect. And so it's kind of not really making much of any aspect right now, but it is in the sign of Cancer, and it is going over a lot of the places where earlier in the summer we had a lot of tense energy. We had a lot of tense energy in Cancer earlier in the summer. Well, now we have Venus going over those spots, and it's smoothing over that emotional surface that was very rocky earlier in the summer. It's just bringing a little bit balance into that space. It's I mean, you could say it's putting some ointment on some wounds, perhaps. I mean, it was a very pretty intense time emotionally for a lot of people there, really earlier in the summer. With Venus going over there, it brings a little bit of balance, brings a little calm. It's very soothing, right? So that's nice, and it's not going to be making any tense aspects, for the first week or so of this new moon. So I really like this first week of the new moon until we get to next week, 25th or so, and then we have Mars hitting Saturn, and then there will be some other energies that we'll have to deal with. But for now, have fun with this energy. Allow yourself to be childlike. Allow yourself to connect with that inner child and have that innocence. And if you are slapped back into reality later on, well, then fine. But don't let that steal your moment. Let yourself have some innocence. Let yourself dream. Let yourself play. Let yourself have a good time for this week. And then when the moon unfolds, it gets to the quarter moon and the full moon in the third quarter, and more things come to temper that energy and make it more realistic, well, then fine, we'll deal with that when it gets here. But now it's about having a good time. It's about play. It's about exploring your own self in a fun way. What I mean by that is get excited about the things that you like to do, the things that you like to play, the world that you like to play, and the things that you like to do, your creative projects, the things that you have going on. Immerse yourself in all that. Get into it right now. Just have a field day with it as best you can. Remember to laugh. Remember to, have some comedy in your life. It's good. It's good for you. This is a time for it too. Never a better time than right now, as far as that's concerned. So that's what I got. Okay, I'm gonna do another video in about a week, and I'll see you then. But for now, just have a good time. Yeah, explore that.